Hey, what's up, guys? It's JBG Gaming. Man, well, all this racial uh stigma and all this racial stuff going on, it's actually crazy, bro. Because it's like all the races nowadays are popping out the woodworks, bro. Like it's just getting crazy. Like in my 27 years of living that I was conscious and using social media, I've never seen as much racism as I have today. Like it's literally just everywhere. Like everybody's just being racist for absolutely no reason at all. Whether it be about disgracing black history, disgracing black civil rights leaders, disgracing Africa, like people just racist. And it's going to show you how terrible and poor people are in reality. Like these are people you walk around every day and try to act like they're normal people, but these are just heinous, terrible, absolutely atrocious people. And you have to be careful about who you're around, bro. If you're around a group of white people, there's a good chance that most of them don't like you or think less of you inherently, just off the rip. And it's terrible, man. You go on social media and just like I see guys, telling me, what has Africa ever contributed? And it's a whole shithole country, and just all this crazy things and terrible things about black people. Which I'm saying, they head it could be true, but I mean the reason why I don't buy into it because look at where black people are today, despite everything we've been through. Nobody's been able to keep us down. They tried and tried and tried, but yet we still here thriving and still here doing great things. Whether it be being the first heart surgeon, or whether it be the young man running Red Lobster, we still doing great things that they said we couldn't do, or we can never even compare. But like I said, here we are. And so, right for this video, I just wanted to review some statistics, because they always talk about 1350, 1350, and but reality is that I don't know if you guys can see it, but I asked ChatGPT what percent of the black population actually commits violent crime, and Chat told me it's only 0.34%. So we had 150,000 violent crimes in 2023. Out of those, only out of 47 million, only 150,000 have committed those violent crimes, which is 0.34% of the population. Now that what I'm saying, it's still a big thing to consider that only 1% commits half of the violent crimes. But I mean, every race has its own different vices. Black people seem to like to murder people, and white men are are very high in the child abuse rate. Nobody wants to talk about that. How white men are exorbitantly a great amount of the PDF files in the world. Black white men are 30%. You can. And what's crazy about it is that you can use one single metric. You don't have to use the entire white race. You can just say white men, which is 30% of the population, is 75% of the PDF file crimes, and that's crazy to me. We don't even have to say white people as a whole. You could just say the white men are 70% of the pedophile crime, but you don't see a huge propaganda campaigns being spread about them on the media talking about 1350 or 3070, 3070. We don't see people just regurgitating that. You got people saying that black people don't deserve civil rights because they commit so much murder, but white men committed lynching, rapes, and pedophile crimes. They said they're like 60% of rapes and pedophile crimes, and you don't see a single metric. You don't see a single propaganda campaign talking about that we need to revoke civil rights for white Americans. So you know what I'm saying? Why people try to say, oh, it's without context, but think about this. Charlie Kirk said black people don't deserve civil rights, and people say it's without context. It's without context. But if I say white people don't deserve civil rights, you as a white person, male or female, would you be willing to hear context about what I have to say about that? No, for several reasons. One, because it's inherently wrong. Everybody deserves civil rights. Every white person isn't out here being a pedophile or committing murder, right? And then two is because you're white, so you're not willing to hear context or surrounding details. You know that you as an individual should get civil rights, so that's not a question or anything that you need context on. But for black people, for some reason, you seem to be open to wanting to hear context. Y'all don't think that's racist? If you need context for black people don't deserve civil rights, but you don't need context for white people don't deserve civil rights, then that means you're racist and you don't even know it. The racism runs so deep you don't even know that you're racist but it's inherent. You're willing to hear reason for black people not having civil rights, but for white people having civil rights, it immediately clicks to you that's not that is immorally wrong. And that's not something that's true. You know what I'm saying? So and that's weird to me. So you're willing to hear reason for black people, but not willing to hear reason for white people. You're a racist. You're a racist bigot. So if that's you, you can safely identify yourself as a racist, and you know you might not know it, but it probably be in your best interest just to stay away from black people, knowing that you might be involuntary subconscious racist. And you know, probably a rape. I was gonna say rapist, but probably rapist too. You know, raping this is in your DNA. It's a good chance that if you a white person, you watching the video, it's a good chance that your granddad raped a black woman when he was denied sex from his wife. It's a good chance knowing that he would get off. I mean, y'all always talk about how we're savages and the world would be better off without us, but it wasn't that long ago where we seen what white people did with freedom. When y'all had freedom from consequences and freedom to do what y'all want, when y'all had that freedom, y'all raped, lynched, and burned down communities. So don't sit here and talk to me about righteous and justice and what black people can and can't do and what we're savages and any moral depravity we might have, because we seen what your people did with freedom. When they was given total freedom to do what they want without consequences, they decided to rape motherfuckers and discriminate against them. So don't sit here and talk to me about, and for no reason at all. We wasn't committing 50% of the murders in. So don't sit here and give me about this talk about moral and ethical righteousness and none of that bullshit. Because when your people had freedom, they didn't they were the worst evil savage human beings you could think of. So please stop trying to exalt yourself as this moral and ethical being that is beyond black people, because it wasn't that. It was probably a good chance that your granddad was a rapist, and then your entire race within the last 2 or 3 centuries were just serial rapists. They knew they could rape black people, and so they did. So don't sit here and talk to me about ethical and moral and a culture issue. We seen what y'all culture do when y'all got freedom: rape, murder, pilfer. So yeah. But not to get off subject here, 0.3% of the black population. So y'all, I wish, you know, this is something y'all can't justify our racism any longer, because only 1% of people commit 50% of those murders. The rest of the 47 black people are regular civil human beings. So no longer can you use this metric to justify your racism. We have to use another metric, because you cannot hold 99% of people accountable for 1% of what people are doing. And if you do that, you're a biased and racist source. So yeah, that's all I wanted to say. It's JBG Gaming out. Holla back.